touch on the season and just what's your thoughts coming into the playoffs?
Well, we're all very excited, and our coaches put together a great plan for us, a game plan, especially Coach Chadwell on defense. We're gonna run a little bit of everything, and we're gonna hope for the best. We're gonna take it one game at a time.
Zach?
I agree with Thor. Everything you said, right on the money.
What about you, Sully?
I definitely think our coaches have put us in a really good spot for us to make something happen this playoffs.
Garrison?
I mean, I think that our practice schedule has got a really big thing to do with how we approach Friday night, and I think that the coaches are doing a good job at keeping us together.
We have a good chance to go far in playoffs and make a good run for state.
Some good young men there, Coach Gillum.
Yeah, we got.
I want to congratulate you right now and your team. 5 straight region championships, and not only region championships, but undefeated region championship, 5 in a row. So
Yeah, it's not easy. We've been in Chattanooga the previous 4 years. Getting in this Knoxville region was definitely a tougher test. Playing against South Dual and a lot of those guys, and a lot of those guys were picked. South Dual especially was picked to win the state, #1 in our region. And so for our same group to be able to go through that region schedule and stay unbeaten and win another title, it's a big deal for our program.
it's quite remarkable to go undefeated 5 straight years in the region. And I know you've heard the talk. You hear a lot of critics out there, talking about the region you were in Chattanooga. And but the way you all won those games, I don't believe you had one game that was a single-digit score. They was pretty dominating performance. But
they were. We played well, and I think we had non-region games sprinkled in there too, like South Dual and Powell and Peoples, to solidify anything we had done in our eyes. So we weren't real concerned about that. But I don't think we had a game probably within 4 scores while we were down there. By the end of the game, we had some that may have stayed close till halftime. But all them teams down there wasn't bad either. We just played the hand dealt us. That's where we were. The games that we had non-region, we picked up what should have been big games, and we took care of them the same way. But it's definitely a different schedule this year, and it's really a testament to our program and organization as a whole, not me per se, but all of our coaching staff, all the time our kids put in, the time, and the off season, and just the way they do business, and the whole structure of the program. We've got a lot of people on board, and it don't ever stop, and we're seeing the fruits of that kind of work.
Right, and this year you're in a new region, as you said, and some good teams in there. You mentioned some, and you also your non-conference or non-region games. If you would just touch on that, just the strength of your schedule is just it's really one of the
right. So again, before we were in the Chattanooga region, a lot of the when they reclassified 5 years ago, I guess now, a lot of the Knoxville teams decided to go 5A instead of staying 4A. Kind of left us by ourselves, so we were an outlier. And the closest region was the Chattanooga region. We thought we'd be in the Middle Tennessee region, but they ended up putting us in Chattanooga. So, we played that one, and we were really successful. 10-0 most of the time, maybe not in one season in there, but most of the seasons were 10-0. I can't remember all of them. But because of it, it made scheduling hard. When you're successful at the end of the day, when it comes time to reclassify and put a schedule together, it's hard to find people that want to play. And, at the end of the day, we're talking Alcoa and Baylor and Innsworth and Greenville and people like that, and trying to fill in games, and that's pretty normal for all them guys, and it's gotten to be normal for us too. So it's a good compliment to our program. But it was a tough schedule, tough season. We started off with Powell, number 1 or number 2 in the polls, depending on which poll you're looking at in 5A. A lot of Division I athletes on that team. Linemen, they got the number 1 player in the country, transferred in for the game, that kind of thing. And we ended up not doing what it took to win at the end, but the kids played great, and I guess we, other than Catholic, we probably played them, and Maryville probably played them better than anybody else did this year. Had a chance to win that game late. Really, I made a call to blow that one at the end. But other than that, our kids played fabulous, and it didn't matter who we played. We've been able to play with everybody. So it's still a big step up. We don't quite have the depth of some of the larger 5As and 6As that are elite, but our best 11 or their best 11, we're about as good as anybody.
Walter?
Well, really, as I was talking to you off mic, 8 out of the 10 teams you've played are going to the playoffs. Only one team, another team is pretty good. You only had one team that was really not that good this year. I mean, I've never seen really that tough a schedule, actually.
Yeah, we did get banged up in it. I do feel like we're better for it, and
All of our coaches are on board with me this. But high school football is about the experience of Friday night football and the camaraderie with your teammates and the memories you make. And as much as we made going to Chattanooga a memory, we'd get nice buses and Coach Terry scheduled trips. We'd visit colleges and tour them and practice in their facilities and made some memories. But at the end of the day, it's about that experience of Friday night atmosphere. And it was hard to duplicate what we want in Chattanooga. So there's a lot of good that's came from playing all them teams. We have been sharpened. We're going to go into the playoffs, haven't been there, done that, seen it. No, we're not going to see anybody that shocks us with size, with speed, with how well they execute, anything like that. So we're definitely ready for that. I guess, and the Friday night atmosphere is just every week. It's like being in the SEC. You're playing Alabama, you're playing LSU. There's no time off. So it's made us better coaches. We've got to, you're preparing 2 weeks ahead for what you're about to see and trying to find time to get everything done. It's picked up the intensity of our practices and our kids' focus because they know what's at hand every single Friday night. And then the games themselves have just been, electric because they've all been tough games. They've all been down to the wire, and all notable games people are carrying and covering. The negative is we've taken a lot of injuries. We've got banged up. We lost our star quarterback early in the season due to a wrist injury. He actually broke it in the second game. We didn't find out till 2 more games. So Garrison Terry here, our starting corner receiver, he's got a banged up shoulder, but we've had a lot of injuries along the way. We got a lot of kids playing both ways, that type of thing, and against that type of talent. It's been rough
to keep everybody fresh. But we will go proven into the playoffs, but at the same time, we will go a little bit beaten up into them.
And, 2 of your marquee teams that you played, and I think 2 of the top teams in the state, Powell and Elizabethton, what sort of teams, if you beat Seymour Friday night, would you take on that are along that level?
Well, we'll see Elizabethton. That'll be our second round game, and we've played them two other years in the playoffs at Anderson County, and we were pretty fortunate at that point. We were healthy and got them pretty good both years. The first time we had been to Elizabethton was during the season this year. Our quarterback, we found out his wrist was broken,
I think Wednesday. Tate Russell stepped in and did a good job. He had basically less than a day to prepare for that game with 0 reps going in. And so we went in a little unprepared for that game. Now we've had a kid, I guess, start 4 games since then, got some reps under his belt. If we get by Seymour, he'll have 5 games under his belt. We'll be a little better prepared, but physically, we matched up very well. I was very proud of our OL and DL. As big as Elizabethton is, I felt like we dominated the line of scrimmage. We had a lot of fumbles, and still late in that third, early fourth quarter, we had a chance to win that game, even under those circumstances. So I look forward to that game. We'll be a little better prepared and probably have a little better chemistry than we did at that point. And, it'll be tough. They're good, 2-time defending state champs, but physically, we won't be in awe of them at all.
Well, Coach, you've been a very successful coach at Anderson County. A lot of folks out there, however, may not realize that. I know I've had you on the show a few times, or at least one other time. Had some technical difficulties that night. But if you would, just go ahead and tell everyone out there a little bit about yourself and your family and your coaching career. And
Well, I originally played at Anderson County. I graduated back in '97.
yeah, playing career,
Yeah.
leading rusher at Anderson County, correct?
Yeah, and we ran it a lot more back then than we do now.
Played for Coach Kerr.
I played for Coach Kerr. He was, I was actually a transfer kid. I came to Anderson County because of Coach Kerr. And he really laid the foundation for our Anderson County program. And really the people in the community wanted a football program. That's how Coach Kerr got there. And what he started, we've built on. But I went from there, and I was a walk-on at UT one year, and then I played
At East Tennessee State for 3 years, and they kept me on as a graduate assistant, and I coached there for 3 years, and then went to Pikeville, Kentucky, and was the offense coordinator there for a couple of years. Found my wife there, got married. We moved back to Tennessee. She was playing pro tennis. We were trying to find a place that she could practice, I could get a job coaching, and
we found a church we was going to attend in Scott County, Tennessee, so we decided to move back to Tennessee, and I took a coaching job there where I was going to church and helping preach, and I coached there. I was an assistant 1 year, and then I think I was a head coach there 3 years. And when Coach Kerr resigned, Coach Lambert took the job. I guess in dead period over the summer, he had
went back to Scott County, or '09, I can't remember.
'09, I believe.
I believe so. Coach Lambert's a friend of mine too. And when he went there, Coach Deal called and offered me a job in Anderson County. And I'd really been waiting for that job to open up. Again, it's where I went to school, where I spent most of my life. So me and my wife came back to Anderson County, and I've been here 13 years now. And we done well. First year there, we went to quarterfinals, had a chance to win a state championship. The next year, went to quarterfinals, had a chance to win a state championship. First year, we were really close to play here and play there. But we've been, in the playoffs, I think, every year but two. Quarterfinals most years. I think we've won about 7 district titles, region titles in that time. But the big thing is, the Lord's just been real good to me. I've been able to surround myself with good, godly men and that work hard and are about the kids. And we've built a program based on hard work and trying to be godly and treating people right and do things right. We've got the right people in there. We've worked in the community, and it's just organically grown over time with youth programs at Negaff and Lake City and different avenues. And so I'm more proud of the program as a whole than I am our wins and losses. All that goes into our young men and just the character building in our community.
Talk a little bit about your family, and also what do you teach at Anderson County?
I teach PE. My wife's name's Margarita Gilliam. She's from Columbia, South America. She grew up a tennis pro, and I think when she was 16, she was number 4 in her country as a tennis player, as a junior tennis player. As delusional as I was about my own athleticism, she's probably a lot better athlete than I ever was. She's been a real good wife, real good mom to our kids. We got three kids. I got a boy that just turned 12, and then I got a girl that's 9. Let's see,
and Faith is 6. I struggle with the ages. But, we've got a good family. All the kids are real healthy. My mom and dad's always been active in our life. My dad, he's a football fan.
He coached me when I was 3-4 years old out in the backyard playing ball, and our whole lives have revolved around football and being tough and working hard, and really their racing is what's motivated me and molded me into who I am.
You mentioned Greg Deal. I was wondering who initially approached you about the Anderson County job. Was it Coach Deal? Or
Coach Deal was one of my coaches when I played here. He was my running back coach. So I've always been close to Coach Deal. And me and Coach Kerr stayed in touch. He tried to get me to come back a few times as an assistant, and me and Coach Deal had been in and out of touch about the job over the years, and I talked to Coach Terry about it. And,
Coach Terry involved in that too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. But there was different times Coach Kerr looked like he was going to retire, and health and this and that. So there was different times we talked. So Yeah, but Coach Deal, he had reached out to me and told me he'd like me to put in an application and that kind of thing. And there was no secret that I was wanting to get back to Anderson County if it ever opened.
Well, they certainly made a good hire, and I remember when you came in 2009, and Coach, Tony Lambert from Oneida, as you mentioned, came in. He was there for just a little bit, and then decided he wanted to move back home. So his family, and then they hired you. You came in, and you hit the ground running. And I've always admired your coaching ability. At your first year, you had a quarterback, Tanner Williams, who.
He coaches for me now. My quarterback.
And Tanner, prolific passer. I think he's
Rewrote the record books in the state of Tennessee.
now.
Back in 2009, and when I got to Scott County years before,
Passing defense in Tennessee was somewhat archaic, and you saw more of a 4-4 cover 3 and some base cover 2 things, and we were able to come in, and I really feel like be ahead of the curve and write the way that people play defense now in Tennessee.
but Tanner in 2009,
He threw for 4,300 yards and did the same thing next year, and nobody had ever seen people throw like that. And we didn't have what you'd call a great team, but because people hadn't seen pass like we were doing, Tanner and Josh Wilson, Chad Blakely, and a few others just set the world on fire. It was exciting to watch at that time.
Yeah, I was sort of new to the area. I know in college you had Oregon pretty much started the fast pace, and then you had it there in high school, if you want to call it the spread or the West Coast offense or whatever, but you came in and implemented that, and I don't know if Coach Lambert would have ran that style if he was still a coach now.
we were definitely different philosophies.
I know he was just trying to get back home, closer to family, and but he was more wing T, and honestly, if I'd ran wing T with that group, we probably wouldn't have won a game.
Right.
But Tanner's ability to throw, and Wilson was 6'4" and ran a 4.49, so those two together were pretty prolific.
So obviously, you're an offensive coordinator at Pikeville, and
I was.
I learned on the run.
My good friend took the head job, asked me to come up there, and we had been at East Tennessee State coaching together. And when he asked me to go to Pikeville, I didn't even know Pikeville was a college. I didn't know where it was, and found out it was a college, not a high school. And they were trying to get my brother to come play, a couple other AC kids, Matt and Justin Price, and nobody would go unless I came and coached. So he harassed me to death till I went up there. I wasn't prepared to be an OC. I'd been DB coach at East Tennessee State, assistant DB coach, and learned how to call an offense in the middle of a college season. So a lot of time and a lot of errors went into learning how to build an offense.
you certainly learned a lot. That's what I have admired about your teams. You're willing to adapt to your players' strengths, and I think that's a sign of a good coach. And I've seen that throughout your tenure or career at Anderson County as a head coach. You've had some good quarterbacks, and there's been some years have injuries like this year, and then there's been some earlier years in your career. I think Tyler Hicks, was banged up, and then you had to adjust the offense. And then 2015, I believe, as well, you went to more of a running.
There's just two things there. One, you're right. You don't get a recruit, and you got what you got. And if you don't, it's good to have a system, but if you can't tweak it to your kid's talent, that's not very good coaching. But we're blessed. Coach Chadwell came in. I can't remember what year John came in, and he's just a fabulous coach. He's as good as coach as there is anywhere in the country. And his brother was, who's the head coach at Coastal now, was at North Greenville then, and they had learned triple option from Wofford, and they do it better than anybody. And when John came on board with us, he really reshaped our run game and made us where we want a one-trick pony as far as throwing the ball and screen game.
He's a defensive coach now too, right?
Well, he is.
He knows offense as well.
He knows.
Sure,
He knows
knows it
all
all.
of it.
Yeah.
But he was our OC there for a little while,
Okay.
and we implemented all that run game in, and then the run game part John had taught me, and I learned through what he's learned from Jamie, and we'd implemented that into our pass game. And but like you're saying, is if you can't change, not just because of talent, but the times change. When I came in 2009, 4-4 cover 3, base cover 2, we can light that on fire. But as we got better, and I got in this region with Powell and Oak Ridge and all these guys, defenses started adjusting, and it reshaped the way football was being played. We started seeing multi-coverage, multi-front, zone blitzes, and things like that. And then if we just kept doing the same things we were doing in 2009, we wouldn't win a game. So we had to get better in the run game, start building RPOs based off what we're seeing and things like that. So we have changed with the times just because the objective is winning, not passing yards.
You certainly seen that this year as well with Walker Martinez
Yeah.
going down with the injury. Then, of course, you've got an all-state running back and Gavin No, but you still had to adjust your offense when Martinez went down. You know, you mentioned he went with Russell first.
Yeah.
Then you come back with you got a freshman now, Cody Miller, and your offense. You know, you've adapted to that injury, and
Yeah,
We put more on. Our O-line was somewhat young when the season started.
you got a
Sully's the only returning starter we had up front, and he's really sharp, and he does a good job of communicating, letting everybody know every single play, who to get, and this and that. But you get in a game, we play Powell, we play Science Hill. We had a lot of missed assignments overall, not because of physical ability, but just youth and inexperience. You know, by game 4 or 5, we had really worked out all the mistakes. Kids had seen everything, played the best, and we were starting to solidify that front as a unit about the same time Walker went down. So, again, we found out on a Wednesday, Tate came in. Tate was a really good quarterback when he was younger, and he had played some and repped some when he was younger, and he's really the only option we had to try and get through in a couple of days. Now, Tate's also our starting corner and one of our best players on defense. So after we got through that week, we just kind of retooled. We went ahead and kept Tate at corner and let the younger guy that had been trying to learn the offense come in, but we scaled it back quite a bit. We put all the emphasis on our O-line running backs, and like Shannon's here tonight, him and our other H-back, Eli Davis, they have really been the difference. We're in 11 or 12 personnel almost 100% of the time, and we're using those guys to clean things up and give RPO action. And really, you know, everybody we've played has struggled between the balance of our run game with Gavin and Moog coming in, and then with our H-backs. Both our H-backs are about as good as there is in the area right now. Real good.
we're visiting with the head coach of the Anderson County Mavericks football team, Davey Gillum, and right now we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back to visit with some of his players, and our phone lines are open if you'd like to call in when we come back. So we'll be right back. You're watching the Locker Room Chat.
Mulch & More in Midtown is your landscaping headquarters. They offer mulch, topsoil, all types of gravel, sand, rock, crab orchard stone, riprap stone, and limestone gravel. Mulch & More does light excavation work. Do you need a driveway repaired? They can do it. Plus, Mulch & More can do your water and sewer lines, French drains, and more with Ditch Witch services. So whether you only need a half cubic yard up to 20 cubic yards, Mulch & More can help you. Give Gary a call today at 865-234-7060 at Mulch & More in Midtown.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
At Roan Medical Center, we are committed to serving this community and providing the best possible care for our patients. We have 20 medical specialists on staff representing all areas of care in a clean and safe environment. You don't have to go out of town to receive excellence in outpatient services, so please don't delay. The care you deserve is right here, right now. For the moments of need, we are here for you.
Duff Subaru would like to announce the opening of our brand new, larger facility in Kingston. This new facility was designed to offer unmatched comfort and convenience for our customers. Our service department now offers full tire and alignment services, express oil changes, and a car wash included with each service. We're conveniently located at I-40 exit 356 in Kingston, an easy drive from anywhere in the greater Knoxville area. Earl Duff Subaru, Tennessee's only 10-time winner of the Subaru Love Promise Award.
All remaining 2021 Ascent models have 0.9% financing available at Earl Duff Subaru in Kingston.
At OEB Law, our home is your home. And your family is our family. And down here, family takes care of family, giving back and helping out whenever needed. OEB Law is proud to be from East Tennessee. OEB Law feels like home.
Welcome back into the locker room chat, and we're visiting with head coach Davey Gillum and his Anderson County Mavericks. And Walter, right now it's playoff time, first round of the playoffs, and 7 teams in our area, the Roane, Anderson, Morgan area, have made the playoffs. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the brackets right now. And we start with Class A. As you can see there, number 1 seed Cofield there at the bottom. Number 2, Oakdale. The Eagles getting the number 2 seed, and I don't know when's the last time they hosted a playoff game.
Say it's been a while.
But there were some wild games last week. I know Oakdale got past Greenback, and you had Oliver Springs upsetting Midway and knocked Midway down to number 3. As you see there, will be traveling to Unaka. And just a wild Friday last week. A lot of things. If Greenback would have beat Oakdale, I think Oliver Springs would have got in. So
Oliver Springs really blew my mind on that win against Midway. That was something else.
Right, that was a good win there for the Bobcats to close the season. Unfortunately, didn't get in the playoffs. We got a call. Let's go ahead and take this call. The locker room chat, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Coach Keith. I just wanted to call Coach Gillum and tell him that he has my full support in the playoffs. Thought they persevered and did really well. That's all I really wanted to say, and I wish you guys the best of luck, and I'll get off.
Coach Keith, thank you for calling in, and it was a good win. Y'all had to close the season, and I'm sure y'all got high hopes built on that going into next season.
Yes, we
Thanks,
do.
Coach. I appreciate the call. Appreciate that comment.
Yes, sir. Take care.
All right, let's look at Class 2A. Got the Rockwood Tigers that end up with the number 1 seed. They will be hosting Happy Valley. Number 2, Oneida. Oneida about upset Cofield last week, but they'll be hosting Cumberland Gap. Number 3, Monterey, who've been ranked in the top 10. They're on the road to Hampton. That'll be a good game right there, Walter.
Yeah, it certainly will. Monterey's been doing well at times, but at other times not. But, yeah, that'll be a good one.
Let's go up to 3A, where the Kingston Yellow Jackets lost last week to the Loudon Redskins, but Kingston finishing number 2 in their region. They'll be hosting their first playoff game in 20 years.
Whoa.
They'll be hosting Sequatchie County. As you see, Loudon, the number 1 seed in that region. Looking at, go up to 4A, where the Anderson County Mavericks are taking on Seymour. And Coach, when was the last time y'all played Seymour?
You know, I don't know. I know in my tenure we haven't played them. And I know when as a player there we haven't played them.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Terry says maybe 05-06.
Seymour's coming in with a 6-4 record, and you look at some of the other teams in your region. Knoxville Fulton defeating Carter last week, get that number 2 seed. Will host Volunteer, and Carter will be at Elizabethton, and South Doyle is traveling to Greenville, and that's a tough matchup for anybody. But South Doyle, I thought, coming into this season, I think they were picked. You and them were to battle it out.
Yeah, they had, most people picked them ahead of us. In fact, I don't know anybody that picked us over in preseason. a lot of teams had them preseason favorite to win the state. Of course, a lot of your media outlets are from Knoxville, so they're going to get the edge there. But a lot of people figured it'd be South Dole, Elizabethton, and Greenville. Now, all of us that kind of know 4A know Greenville got everything back. Elizabethton had about everything back, and they'd won 2 in a row. So those are pretty interesting matchups there in 4A and that group there. You're typically used to Greenville and Elizabethton getting passes on the first round playing, you know, Howard or somebody like that. But, you know, South Dole as a 4 seed, that's a tough draw. They got talent. Sean Gary's as good a player as there is in East Tennessee right now, and they got some big kids, athletic kids. So it's good news for us, really, because Greenville ain't going to come in third round and not be a little battle tested and maybe a little beat up.
Would y'all be able to host that third round?
No, I believe the way it goes is on the odd years, Region 1 would get 2 ones go at it. They'll get it goes to the odd, so 21 they'd get it. But if we were somehow to get by Greenville, the semifinals, because it's quad 1, we would get the home field in the semis. So we'd be home first round, second round, and then we'd have to travel in round 3.
That Region 1 has produced the last 4 state champions. I know you're aware of that.
I am. It's a little frustrating. I'm not real excited about the way Tennessee does playoffs. Other states usually will try and rotate those regions and who they play just to create some parity, but not just in 4A, but 5A and 3A, your state championships have been played first or second rounds. And, you know, as a fan and as a coach of a program, you'd like to see those games get played in the semifinals and the finals instead of knowing third round state championships already been played.
I know y'all played Greenville a few years, and whoever's going to win that is going to win it.
Yeah, really in 4A the last 4 years, it's been us, Greenville, and Elizabethton, and they've all been high-level football games. Whichever of us is playing each other. But the one that's came out of that game has handily won the next round and the state championship.
Chandler, throw up 5A, and then get the Oak Ridge Wildcats here locally, getting the number 3 seed after defeating Campbell County last week. They'll be traveling to McMinn County and Walter. I think that's the game the Wildcats might go down there and win.
I think they could be the best 3-7 team in the entire state. They're always capable, and they've always done good against McMinn County from what I recall.
You see Powell there in 5A, number 1 seed, and personally I think they're the team to beat in that, but we'll see how it plays out. You know, you got West in the other region, but if you look down at Carnes, Carnes getting the number 2 seed, hosting a playoff game. That's big for the Beavers, and Campbell County traveling to Ray County.
I think that's what the first time for Carnes in about 10 years, at least, from what I recall. And I know last week Clinton did a good job against the running back that was getting close to 300 yards most weeks.
Yeah, they certainly held him to his lowest
by far
yardage by far, and be interested to see how the Carnes comes back from that. Well, right now, let's turn our attention to these young men up here, these Mavericks, and guys, we're going to start with the man in the middle, the center, and defensive lineman, Sully Sexton. And Sully, thank you for being here. And we talked about the playoffs coming up here Friday night. Just talk about what it's like to play for Coach Gillum.
Honestly, Coach Gillum is one of the, I would say honestly, the best coach in this area, because he really cares for his players and really cares for his staff, and he shows that day in and day out, and how he treats people and how he coaches. He's just a really good man and a good Christian leader, I feel like, in our community.
He was wanting to know about your haircut. He's going to know if you can get a haircut while you're on the show here.
I don't know about that. I'm going to try and keep my hair for a little bit longer.
He's like a Samson, ain't he, Coach?
Yeah, I would be afraid to cut it going into the playoffs. I guess we can give him a few more weeks.
Go ahead and talk a little bit about Sully.
So, again, Sully's our only returning lineman. His dad, actually, I played football with at Anderson County, Pete Sexton, back probably 96. I think Pete may be a year or two ahead of me. He was a good football player, tough guy. But Sully comes from an athletic family. Doc Sexton, who helped start Anderson County High School, is his grandpa. Stanton Martin, our quarterback a few years ago, is his cousin. So he's got athletic genes, and Sully's a top-notch student. Great grades, good ACT score, does everything right. He's a good role model for our kids in the school. He's an SGA. He does a lot of community service, and he's a good football player. He's one of our better players, and he's a good leader. He does a good job communicating, and really O-line is more about chemistry than it is about having a great player. You can have a great tackle, but if you got a weak link, you still got a bad offensive line. Sully's done a really good job this season, helped grooming a lot of young guys and getting them ready. And right now, I'm really proud and happy where our O-line is, and he's a big reason why.
Walter?
You are a very big fella. How big are you? You're one of the bigger linemen I've seen in a while. In a high school range.
Last time I checked, I was 6'3", 280 pounds.
Is that with the hair or without the hair?
I'd say with the hair, maybe 285, 280. Be a good number.
So does that take off 10 or 15 pounds?
Oh, yeah.
But have you played football from day one or a number of years, or have you played other sports? Or?
I used to actually play baseball up until about, I think, my 7th or 8th grade year, but I've played football since about the 5th grade.
I recruited, me and Coach No, Sully used to play travel baseball on the Renegade team, and I do SAQ work with kids in the community on Saturdays, and Sully would come in and do SAQ. They'd make him. I don't think he wanted to be there. But I'd always ask him and his dad, when he was going to start playing football, and he said, we're trying to get him out, but he finally came out. We knew the size of that head, he was going to be a big boy.
And when did you get on weightlifting? Like, you look like you've definitely got the muscles. You've been doing that for a while.
Well, I would say I started weightlifting mainly my freshman year with Coach Craig. He's a really good strength coach. But then I would say when quarantine hit about last year, one of my dad's coworkers was getting rid of a weight equipment set. And so, I mean, we were in the pandemic. We couldn't do much. So I think I really got a passion for weightlifting just about last year.
Well, you're definitely helping the offensive line. I can tell that.
Thank you.
Sully, would you like to play on the next level?
I'm thinking about it. It's definitely a really big question I have for my future because, I mean, obviously football is really fun to play and I have a great time with all my buddies, but it's also a really huge time commitment. So I don't know. I'm wanting to play, but I also have to take in consideration.
What's your plans for after graduation? If you go to college, what field of study would you like to go into?
I actually haven't decided my major yet. I'm thinking about doing pre-medicine, exercise science, or biology.
And what's it like to play for Anderson County? Just talk about some of the memories you have playing for the Mavericks.
Honestly, I don't really think there's anything like it around here, or maybe even in the nation. Playing for Anderson County is just a whole different ball field. There's different stuff like, I mean, last Friday night with our senior night, I don't think many other people can say that they walked out to fireworks and a smoke show really anywhere.
Right. You'll definitely miss that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And, do you have any pregame rituals?
I don't know if you would really call it a ritual, but I mean, I go get taped. I listen to my music really loud. And I just try to get. What? Yeah, I got to have my eye black on. But normally I just try to, like, you know, I know athletes say it all the time. You just got to get in the zone. Well, if I'm going to be communicating to my guys all night, I got to be mentally there. I can't be thinking about other stuff, what I'm going to be doing the next day. So I just try to get in the zone, listen to my music, and try and zone out, but kind of zone in at the same time.
Did you ever line up across from Walter Nolan this year, that #1 in the nation recruit?
I did.
How'd you fare against him?
I think we fared pretty well, honestly. I mean, as Coach Gillum said, we had a bunch of new offensive linemen this year, and a couple of them had never started before. And so I feel like us as a unit and myself, I think we all played pretty well against him, considering he's the #1 recruit in the nation.
That was pretty fun, I bet.
Oh, yeah. It was honestly a really fun challenge to get to undertake.
Well, so if you would go ahead and like to give a shout out.
I would definitely like to shout out our youth group, second students, because we were just there tonight, and I want to shout them out.
All right. It's awesome. And all right, let's go to our next contestant here. Who wants to go next? Garrison Terry, Coach Gary Terry's son, and Coach Gillum. Talk a little bit about Garrison.
So, like you're saying, Garrison Sr. plays receiver and corner. As a corner, Coach Chavez put a lot on him. He's basically been locked up in zero coverage, press man for 2 years now, and that's hard to do. And I can only think of one ball that's gotten over top of him in 2 years. So he's been a fabulous football player. He's been a real good leader. Kids like him. He goes out of his way. You know, we really do a lot in our program to try and destroy cliques and things like that. You know, we're trying to create a family culture, and a kid ain't important just because he's good at football, and he's not unimportant just because he's not good at football. So we want everybody to be good to each other, and really Garrison does a great job of doing those things, not just talking about it. But I'll see Garrison in line coaching a 8th string receiver that don't even know how to get in the stance, trying to coach him, tell him what to do, same thing. Those things mean a lot to me as a coach and a man, a dad, to know that, you know, people do those type of things. But I've known Garrison, you know, Coach Terry, I've known him before I was at AC, so I've watched Garrison grow up. So, you know, part of this, it's always hard for me to watch these guys graduate because I've got an emotional interest in these guys. I know them all. I've seen them. Most of them, I've seen them all since they were 4 and 5 years old grow up.
So did you name any captains this year?
Garrison, Sully, and Zach, and Anthony have been captains. All these guys have been captains at one point. But those guys have, you know, clearly as far as taking the lead and having rapport with their teammates to get things done have set the tempo for us. I remember my first year at Anderson County in 2009. I took over during the dead period, and when we come out of it, first thing we had was a little kids camp. And I remember we used to do Wildcat football back then, and one of my most vivid memories of Garrison Terry was him running the ball and scoring. The next time they tagged him, and he got mad and drop kicked the kid that tagged him in the chest. And I said, "You see what your kid just did?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know, I'll get it." But he's always been a competitive fella, and he's done a great job for our program. He's another one that does a lot in school and does a lot in the community, and he really embodies everything we're trying to produce as a Anderson County athlete.
Walter?
How long have you played football?
Since my 6th grade year.
6th grade. And do you play any other sports?
I played baseball all my life up until freshman year.
Okay. And any prospects for the future? What were you going into in college?
I'm probably just going to go to Middle Tennessee State University for their professional pilot program.
Now, Garrison, I don't know if he'll brag on himself, but he's already taken lessons. He can already fly planes. He flies on the weekends. Tell him a little bit about that, Garrison, because I don't have all the details, but your dad sends me videos almost every weekend of him flying.
I go over to Knoxville Downtown Island Home Airport, and it's about every Monday and Saturday I'll go over there with my instructor, and I will do a lesson with him. I'm trying to get my private pilot license right now. I have soloed, so I can fly a plane by myself out to Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, Greenville, all out in that area.
Impressive kid.
That's quite impressive. I know your brother as well. He's doing something.
He's a BMW tech.
Right. I've read about him, so I'm sure he's doing well.
Yeah.
And how's it like to play football for Anderson County with your dad as one of the coaches? Is he harder on you than other players?
Yeah, of course. The atmosphere around the high school is insane. I've been to many other high school games when we're on a bye week or something, and the atmosphere is absolutely nothing compared to it is at Anderson County. And being around here with like Coach Gillum and my dad, they're both like, my dad's my father, but Coach Gillum's another father-like figure to me, and they both let me know it when I do something wrong.
What's some of the memories you're going to take away from playing at Anderson County?
Definitely the big games that we played at home. I remember all the Greenville games that we played, especially the one last year. That was probably the most memorable game for me.
You had 5 catches the other night, 73 yards, and I know you go both ways. And do you prefer offense or defense?
That's pretty tough. I probably prefer offense.
Okay, and do you have any pregame things you do to get fired up?
Lean back in my locker, put my AirPods in, and zone in.
Who would you say is the vocal leader of the Anderson County Mavericks?
Probably Gavin No.
Gavin?
Yeah.
And who's the player that keeps y'all loose? Likes to cut up and...
Probably Bryson Vowell.
Bryson Vowell. He gets that from his dad, though.
Yeah.
Well, Garrison, thank you for being here, and if you would, good luck the rest of the season, but go ahead and give a shout out.
I want to shout out Josh Neely.
Josh Neely, okay. What about your mom?
Yeah, her too.
We'll give her a shout out. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take another quick break. We'll be right back to visit with these other 3 student athletes for Anderson County Maverick football. And you're watching the Locker Room Chat.
At OEB Law, our home is your home. And your family is our family. And down here, family takes care of family. Giving back and helping out whenever needed. OEB Law is proud to be from East Tennessee. OEB Law feels like home.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We'll buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
Duff Subaru would like to announce the opening of our brand new, larger facility in Kingston. This new facility was designed to offer unmatched comfort and convenience for our customers. Our service department now offers full tire and alignment services, express oil changes, and a car wash included with each service. We're conveniently located at I-40 exit 356 in Kingston, an easy drive from anywhere in the greater Knoxville area. Earl Duff Subaru, Tennessee's only 10-time winner of the Subaru Love Promise Award.
All remaining 2021 Ascent models have 0.9% financing available at Earl Duff Subaru in Kingston.
At Roan Medical Center, we are committed to serving this community and providing the best possible care for our patients. We have 20 medical specialists on staff representing all areas of care in a clean and safe environment. You don't have to go out of town to receive excellence in outpatient services, so please don't delay. The care you deserve is right here, right now. For the moments of need, we are here for you.
Welcome back into the Locker Room Chat, and we're visiting with head coach of the Anderson County Mavericks, Davey Gillum, and we're going to visit with 3 more of his players here coming up here shortly. But right now, I'd like to mention the Anderson County cross country team. Just both boys and girls qualified for the state championship. So congratulations to that program, and also one of the members of the girls, Kaitlyn Fisher. She was the region champion in the cross country. She ran it in 20 minutes and 9 seconds, and I'm not sure exactly how many miles that cross country is, but
I think it's 3.
That's
3 miles, 5K.
pretty impressive, and she won the region championship. And Derek Wallace is the head coach of the cross country team. I know he's getting ready for basketball season coming up, and a couple other members I like to mention. Kaitlyn Fisher, she's a sophomore, so, she's got a few more years back, and I'm not sure the state going on this week.
Friday.
State will be this Friday, so good luck to Kaitlyn Fisher. And also senior Macy Caldwell finished 3rd in the region. And a freshman, Marley Caldwell, they sisters?
Yeah.
She finished 8th, so quite impressive. And they had another girl on that team, couldn't play. She was out sick, Megan Hare, and she was one of the top-rated cross-country runners. She was able to participate. Our Anderson County girls probably would have won the region, according to Coach Wallace. But on the boys' side, Connor Chandler, he finished 4th for the boys. So congratulations to Anderson County cross country. So let's turn our attention back to these Mavericks up here. We got Thor Williams. And Thor, how did you get that name? You got a great name. I know Williams is a really good name, but you throw Thor in there, it just blows it off the map.
Yes, sir. That's my middle name. Really just what I've went by since I was young.
What's your full name?
First name's Robert. So Robert Thor Williams.
How'd you get that name Thor?
Always what I went by.
Your dad?
Yes, sir.
Named you that?
Oh, yes, sir. Well, it's a family name. So.
Oh, it's a family name? Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about Thor, Coach Gillum.
So Thor, he's just been with us. He was actually, I think, with the Grace Middle School and transferred over in high school. And he's played strong safety and free safety for the last 4 years. I think he's started since he's a sophomore. He's had an outstanding career. I think he's led the team in interceptions since he was a sophomore. Similar to Sully on the O-line, Thor, when he first got to AC, it was a whole new language. And if you play defense for Coach Chadwell, you got to have a PhD to get in. And I think his sophomore year, he struggled a little bit his freshman year, learning everything new. And then, to his credit and his work ethic, he came and met with Coach Chadwell like during his skinny block. Any off time he had, he'd go visit with Coach Chadwell, did all the things to learn. And now he's the point where he's the guy that gets everybody lined up back there. So he's just been everything you could ask for what you want out of a kid in high school. Hardworking, always there, does the right thing, gets everybody lined up. If it's not going his way, he don't give up. He just works harder, and just what you'd like to duplicate if you could have 85 of them.
Certainly. Walter?
Thor, how long have you played football, and what background do you have where that's concerned?
Well, not a lot of football. I've played baseball my whole life, and I just went into football my 6th and 7th grade year.
Now, Thor is one of our high school baseball players, and he plays on a travel team. He does a real good job in baseball and probably play college baseball.
That's quite impressive.
Some of the memories you're going to take away from playing in Anderson County wearing those colors?
Well, some of the best memories besides, apart from being with my friends and everything, would be what Coach Gillum offers to us off the field. He's a very Christian man. He's affiliated with our FCA. He's involved in church, and just having that sort of Christian influence on my life, it's been great. It's been something I would not regret in my 4 years playing.
What would you say the highlight of your playing career would be?
Definitely in the locker room with these guys, but on the field and an actual play that stands out, probably my first junior year interception against Powell, or this year's interception against Fulton.
Okay, what's your plans after graduation?
Well, I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to play baseball or football in college, and that I have options with that. I'm leaning towards something more marine engineering geared, so that'd probably be baseball for me.
Would you like to go ahead and give a shout out?
I'd like to shout out to my sister Ava, and then my cousin Walker.
You better give your Pepaw a shout out.
And my mama and Poppy.
Well, Thor, thank you for being here, and good luck Friday night and the rest of the season.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's go over to Zach Shannon, and this big man here, and Coach Zach. What's it like playing for Coach Gillum?
I mean, it's a great experience. He's always uplifting us as players and always there for us whenever we need him.
Coach Gillum?
Zach, he came to us. He transferred in. They moved in, I think, Zach, after your sophomore season.
Yeah.
Zach, he'd been at Knox Catholic. He actually started outside linebacker for Knox Catholic, and that's saying a lot. A lot of Division I kids over there, and his brother had played there, and they moved in our area. And he went from starting at Catholic, starting us. We got him late right before the junior year started, Zach. But didn't take long to get him on the field. Zach's a big kid. He can run.
I know you're doing a lot of things with him. He's running the ball, catching passes.
Yeah, just whatever we can do to get him the ball. But defensively, it was easier to get him on the field quick just by sticking him out there. He got an unbelievable motor. Zach will definitely be playing college football somewhere. He's 6'2", very fast, physical. He played travel 7-on-7 last year and played against five-star athletes week in, week out, and really was unstoppable when he was a receiver. And I think if Walker had been healthy, you probably would have got to see a lot more of his receiving ability too.
We've got about a little less than 3 minutes on the show. Walter, any questions for Zach?
Okay, so you more than likely are going to be playing in the college ranks, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, best of luck where that's concerned, and best of luck in this game against Seymour Friday night.
Thank you.
I think we missed Caleb.
Yeah, we got Caleb on the end. And before you go, Zach, what's your plans after graduation? To play football?
I plan to maybe go to UTC and play ball, or if that doesn't work out, just go to UT and major in construction science.
Okay. Would you like to go ahead and give a shout out?
Just want to shout out Tyler Baker at Second Students at Second Baptist Church.
And what was it like going up against Walter Nolan?
I mean, he's a big guy, but, you know, it's a fun time.
He was having to take a lot of breaks, wasn't he?
Yeah, hitting him real low every play. So,
all right, let's go down on the end to Caleb Livingston, and talk a little bit about Caleb.
I know we're running out of time, but Caleb, how much you weigh real quick?
180.
180?
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. How tall are you, Caleb?
5'8".
5'8", 180. Caleb's played outside linebacker, started for us for 2 years.
Scored a touchdown the other night.
Scored a touchdown last week. He had a 100-yard interception return earlier in the season, and it got ripped away from him by a horrendous call, and the whole community felt awful about it. So his teammates insisted we get that touchdown back for him last week. So we gave him the ball. He hit a jet sweep flying and didn't look back, took it straight to the end zone. But he's not real big, but he is one of our best football players, make no doubt about it. He is a special young man.
Caleb, you play any other sports?
I play soccer.
And what's some of the memories you're going to take away from playing Anderson County?
Especially last week when I scored my touchdown, and just all my friends celebrating with me and when rushing the field.
The whole team rushed the field to celebrate.
We got about 30 seconds. What's it like playing for Coach Gillum?
It's one of the best coaches I've ever had. Just the way he pushes us, makes us get better.
And what would you like to do after graduation?
Probably major in engineering.
Okay. And you want to give a shout out?
Shout out to my mom, my dad, and my brothers.
All right. I would like to thank everyone for watching the show tonight. Thank you, Coach Gillum, for being here.
Thanks for having us all.
And for Walter Stair, I'm John Williams, and good luck Friday night, and we'll see you next week here on the Locker Room Chat.
Thank you.